Hello, YouTube. What is going on? It is your boy GCTV. Sorry, I don't have the light in the background. I was packing a bunch of stuff up. This is going to be a very important video because this is the final video I'm going to be recording at the home studio for the summer. Obviously, I'll come back on weekends and record stuff that way. But again, the last video recorded here, so it's kind of a sad moment, but we are here to talk about Dexter. We have the 7th episode of Dexter Resurrections. It literally just came out like last night, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm leaving tomorrow for college, so me and my dad just fit the episode in today among a lot of content creation. I was editing videos, I was recording stuff. I'm ready for bed, but let's get into it, man. Dexter is bolder than ever in a jaw-dropping and masterful series standout. I would say this is the best episode of this series, as well as the best episode I've seen probably since some early Dexter, honestly. Original Sin was great, but Jesus, this was incredible. This episode is titled Course Correction, and it finds Dexter letting his dark passenger loose like never before, like ever in the show. Dexter has never been so public with his killings, resulting in the complete death of David Dastmalchian's two-person Gemini killer. Again, spoiler alert. I'm so sorry if that spoiled it for you and you're already too late till I get off the video, but I'm just gonna say this right now. We go through the entire plot and then I kind of give my thoughts on things. Dexter's liberation under the guise of Red at Prater's retreat continues to avoid raising the suspicions of Prater. Maybe not Charlie so much, but Prater's kind of on his good side for now. Maybe that'll flip on its head later on, and yes, I got a haircut. I gotta say that a couple of times in the first couple of videos I'm shooting with it. Dexter's lore remarkably comes to the forefront in this episode. He connects Prater's reveal of his parents' death to finding Harrison soaked in Tita's blood in season 4. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of interpersonal connections between them, and it's great. He also confides in one half of the Gemini killer about his brothers, Brian Moser, aka the Ice Truck Killer, moments before stabbing him in the neck with a broken wine glass, and that whole sequence was fucking insane. Again, we're gonna get into everything in detail here in a second. These scenes between Dexter and Prater, and later Dexter and Gareth's twin, are some of the best of this second sequel series to the show, and some of the best probably in show history. Not only are they thrilling and move the current plot along tastefully, but they also cleverly employ Dexter's past to make a magnificent, complex, and rewarding viewing experience. So if there's one word that you could use to describe Dexter in this episode, it's unhinged. I mean, when Dexter told Harry earlier in the season that he was tired of playing things safe, he certainly meant it in this episode. He's standing on fucking business. That's what we say nowadays. After killing Gareth's twin brother in broad daylight and still gaining Prater's favor, Dexter confronted Batista in a way that all but confirmed he was the true Bay Harbor Butcher, so he's pretty much in this episode giving Batista confirmation that he is the Bay Harbor Butcher. Obviously, Batista already knew this, you know, being his co-worker and finding all these developments in the case years and years later. Wow, holy shit. Dexter also somewhat recklessly wings it during his first encounter with Detective Wallace at the criminology college that Harrison is thinking about attending, and I think that is a very intriguing storyline, the whole thing with Dexter going off to college. Obviously, I am a college kid going into my last year, fucking hopefully, Jesus Christ, my 5th year at SIUE, got the shirt on, repping the university. I think it's really cool to see him kind of go through this experience and grow up as a man and have relationships. He's already got a freak under his belt, so that'll be interesting. Approaching Detective Wallace after her New York Ripper lecture to offer a tip about the blood spatter analysis is so fearless that it's hard to believe Dexter would be so brazen, and I think the whole tactic with Dexter putting himself out there is obviously to like be confident and like, hey, I'm not a Bay Harbor Butcher, I'm not the bad person here, so it's interesting. On that note, it's equally fitting and ironic that after everything, Harrison is thinking about a career in criminal justice, and it does seem kind of like a forced storyline that if you're a Morgan, you're going to go into criminal justice, you're going to go into law enforcement of some way and work in homicide, but I think it works here. I think Harrison's transition into it was really fucking cool. I really liked it. While he seems to have come to terms with killing Ryan Foster in the first episode, it's interesting to see him follow in the Morgan family footsteps in another way by potentially becoming a police officer. Dexter's newfound responsibilities as a father to Harrison create a fascinating display of his humanity, and you guys can go watch the past reviews I have done on the show. We only talk about humanity around here because that's what Dexter's really doing in this series in particular. He tells Harrison that even if he is emotionally deficient, as Wallace puts it in her lecture, the way he feels about Harrison is different than anyone else in the world. He can show that fatherly love. He can show that human emotion and that connection with Harrison. This offers fascinating insight into this older version of Dexter who is notably sickened by Prater, Gemini, and Rapunzel as they get off to Rapunzel's show and tell video footage of a murder. He has some humanity to him. Obviously, he kills people, but again, he does it for a good cause. He's not going out there aimlessly killing people. He in no way supports that. While there have been some sharp changes in Dexter throughout the series, especially in this episode, they are a natural evolution of his character, even though they somewhat deviate from the cold-blooded, mask-wearing Dexter fans have loved for years. Again, I say this all the time with these sequel series as we're kind of going through them, and even the prequel series, you gotta pay homage to the original. You gotta keep characters somewhat true to themselves throughout the series, but one thing I will say is deviating is never a bad thing for me, unless they completely make it unbelievable and they completely make it unrealistic for the character. And I think here Dexter lashing out, he's meeting a breaking point. He's getting into kind of the later years of his life, and he's like, you know what, fuck it, I'm tired of wearing the mask, which he kind of discussed throughout his meetup with Prater and the guys. Dexter's boldness and vulnerability may not land with all, but at this point in the show, this evolution is logical and intriguing. It makes sense. Batista's showdown with Dexter feels inevitable, obviously, kind of getting into that a little bit as well. That was supposed to happen. I mean, man, while Dexter truly acts like a man returning from the dead, he actually may have helped Wallace solve the biggest case of her career with the New York Ripper, kind of giving her some hints at that, which I thought was a cool detail. Dexter suggests that instead of a crowbar, the Ripper's murder weapon has a hook on the end of it, something he knows firsthand from being in Prater's vault. This further supports the theory that the New York Ripper is the Trinity Killer's son, Jonah Mitchell, and I can't believe how much traction that theory is getting on like social media and stuff. I actually find that very fucking impressive, and shout out to you guys on social media for spreading the narrative, because that's awesome. I don't know if I see it, then again, I haven't watched the original series in a year or two, so some stuff I kind of forget. You know, being a TV and movie review channel, I kind of go through some shit and watch a lot of TV, so it's kind of hard for me to remember certain things, but it's possible. I would like that. That would be kind of cool, a nice little plot twist to kind of return a legacy character. I don't really know. A lot of people are saying it could be Blessing, like it's the unlikely candidate, but I think most likely it will be Leon Prater, because that's a very intriguing relationship, and if they waste the New York Ripper on some random legacy character, I don't know if I'd like that. Batista's pursuit of Dexter in the show quickly heats up when he shows up at Blessing's house and gets incredibly real in the car ride back to Batista's hotel. This was fucking awesome. This is the most cold-blooded we have ever seen Dexter. This is the most straightforward, blunt, to the point we've seen him. That surprise Hermano line could not have been more perfect. This was such a well-written episode. I think in general the episode was so well written. It felt like the ghost of Dokes was hanging over Batista's shoulder when he said it, and obviously Dokes is the guy in Miami Metro that pretty much got the closest to catching Dexter. Well, he knew that Dexter was the Bay Harbor Butcher, but he was the closest to bringing him to justice, and now we see that with Batista in the show, which obviously opens a great opportunity for the last 3 episodes of at least the first season. Now again, we know it's going to be multiple episodes. It's going to be incredible. The gloves are now off between Dexter and Batista. This is a street fight, which could set up an incredibly difficult moral conundrum for Dexter over the last 3 episodes of this season, because obviously he doesn't want Batista to catch him, but then again, they were best buds back in the day in the Miami Metro homicide days. We know Dexter can't kill Batista. He doesn't really fit Harry's code, and that's another interesting thing to kind of think about. He doesn't fit Harry's code, so you can't really just go out and kill the guy, but perhaps a protective father amendment will be made if Batista comes after Harrison once again. I feel like he has to murder him. I feel like he has to do something. I don't really know how they're going to deal with that with Dexter. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for them to end the season in a satisfying way. I don't know if they're going to narrow it down to Dexter killing Batista in this episode, or like dealing with him and Batista never returning again. I do think it would be kind of interesting if they had Batista return for season 2 and just keep it going, take advantage of it, and kind of milk it a little bit. I don't want them to do too much, obviously, but kind of keep it around, because I love Batista. Batista was one of my favorite Miami Metro characters besides Dexter and actually Joseph Quinn. I love Joseph Quinn for some reason. Dexter allowing his dark passenger to breathe among Prater's social club has made him more ambitious and reckless in the real world, as shown in that chilling final car scene between him and Batista. Stunning. Amazing. And in a stunning move, Dexter threatens Batista to back off and kicks his former friend out of his car. This is the time you need to get out now. Fucking amazing. Fucking incredible. As Dexter drives off into the Manhattan night with Angel's AirPods tracking his location, kind of a funny little nod to modern day society and technology. You couldn't do that back when the show was originally running. It feels like neither of them is going to back down, setting up Batista for probably an unfortunate fate by at least the end of the show. Now again, I don't know what they plan on doing. Are they going to keep Batista around for a couple of seasons? Are they going to kind of have him dealt with? Maybe Dexter will frame him for a crime and he'll be thrown away, and maybe another legacy character like Masuka, or I think Joseph Quinn could possibly come back and do something. There's a lot of things that they've kind of throw these Easter egg characters at you. Now, obviously, the Trinity Killer and guys like Dokes can't be there because they passed away, but man, there's some characters that are still alive that were involved in this franchise that could possibly come back to get them. Jonah Mitchell. There's a lot of potential, and man, I can't wait to see what they do. I'm very, very intrigued. This was easily the best episode of it, the spinoff so far. So, that being said, let's get into a review. Again, I think I want to break the review into pros and cons, kind of like I do with the movie reviews, because that was successful last time. Mostly good things. I mean, Dexter's in in his most unhinged form and lets his dark passenger breathe, which is a pretty satisfying thing for fans that have been around and watched this show for some time. Praetor's backstory and Gemini's death scene are two of the best moments in the entire series. Praetor sitting down on that bench and talking to him, and then Dexter killing Gemini in cold blood was fucking insane. Harrison's pursuit into criminology and Batista's intense confrontation with Dexter are great developments that kind of come towards the end of the episode, and again, Harrison going into criminology, going into college could create some really fun dynamics to kind of stray away from the main story and have some fun with it. The NY Ripper case remains an intrigued background story arc. That's something that fans are continuing to theorize, and just the intrigue of that could be a pro of the show so far. Absolutely awesome how they're doing that, and how they're kind of like leading fans on and making them theorize and making them wait. Dexter's bloodiness may come back to haunt him though, like with Trinity in season 4. I think the only bad thing, it's not a bad thing about the episode, because I think this is a damn near flawless episode in the show. I think one of the only bad things that could come with this, we could get a heartbreaking end. Harrison could die, Blessing could die. If he's not the New York Ripper, he could be an innocent man that dies. I don't fucking know. It's going to be wild. So with that being said, it has been your boy GZTV. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. I really appreciate your guys' support. I think we're at about 489, 490 subscribers. So if we could get to 500, if I could gain 10 subscribers by the end of this month, that would be awesome. I don't know if that's going to happen. People don't really subscribe. They come in and talk and we have discussions, which I'm thankful for. I'm not really in it for the money. I'm in it for talking to you guys. I'm prideful about TV shows. I'm prideful about everything I talk about on the channel. So with that being said, I'm out. Have a good rest of your day, night, whenever you're watching this. Peace.